Card full.
Oh man. Hold on.
Okay, and now it went black again.
Okay, turn the camera off, turn it right back on. Nope. Oh, I see everything. It does say SD card full, but is it blinking? Oh, no, it went off. Okay. Okay, Pop, go to the other camera real quick. Just so people don't think that we're...
Okay, I'm at the other camera.
Alright, so did you switch to the top camera?
Yes, I did.
Alright, cool. Just start talking to everybody and just listen to what I'm saying as we go along.
Okay. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to our live. Here are my hands. I feel like a magician. It's very weird. We are having technical difficulties because Andy is not here, which pretty much always means we are having technical difficulties because it's just me. So Andy is actually on my phone. I'm gonna go put an earpod in so that I can hear him giving me directions real quick, and I'll be right back.
Alright, so
Hang on, please. I'm gonna put an earpod in.
okay.
All right. Okay. Yes. Okay. Unplugging this camera. Okay. Okay. Can you remind me how to turn it back on, please? Big button on the front. Okay. All right. How do I know if it's on now? Okay. Well, there's nothing on the screen on the front. No numbers, no nothing. Okay. Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. There we go. And it says SD card full on the front. So let's try this. Okay. Maybe I'm here. All right, Karen, Bella, Liz, hello. I saw Mary Jerome was there for a minute. I saw Mary. Who else did I see? Can you guys see me? Okay. Fingers crossed that this works. That's the lens cap on. Brenda, that's awesome. Thank you. All right. Andy, do you want to stay in my ear or do you want to let me go? Okay. I'm going to keep my ear pod in then. So. I love you too. Bye. Holy fish sticks, guys. All right. So that was fun and enjoyable. It's a great way to kick off our live. So, cool. Welcome. Okay, so you guys, we are getting ready for Thanksgiving, which is less than 2 weeks away, and oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Like, I feel a little overwhelmed about it, but I also feel a little prepared. So, as of right now, I think we have like 13 people coming, but I'm not sure if that number has changed or not. So, in preparation for Thanksgiving, I do a lot of planning. I spend a lot of time writing down what I want to make. I spend a lot of time thinking about what I want to make, stockpiling recipes, talking to my mom, because my mom is super smart and she helps me with all of my Thanksgiving planning. So there is a lot to plan for because we have a big crowd of people. So one of the things we're going to start with is we're going to do two things today. I'm going to start with something you can put out as a snack beforehand. You don't want people to eat too much so that they're so full they can't enjoy dinner, but you also don't want them to come and be starving while they're waiting. So one of the first things we're going to do is a little snack that people can eat while they're waiting. A little nibble. You can do a cheese platter. You can do some charcuterie. And this is one of the things that I always like to prepare for people. Yes, Mary and her husband Mike will be with us. So we'll have big cat peeps. It's going to be awesome. So, all right. So I've got a sheet tray here. I'm going to switch you guys around. So I've got a sheet tray here full of almonds. This is probably like 2 quarts of almonds. Now these almonds have been untreated. They're plain almonds. They're unroasted. They're unsalted. They're just plain almonds. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these into the oven just as they are. 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. All right, so I'm going to go do that and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got the rosemary almonds going. They're in the oven, and now we have to make the rosemary part of these almonds. So I'm going to put you guys back up here. Oh, Bella, we miss you too. We had a lot of fun meeting you. It was a good time. All right, so I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to get this situated here. So this is a large glass bowl, and one of the reasons I use a glass bowl is because I can use this to store my almonds, which they will keep for about a week. So I'm gonna have to make another batch, but that doesn't mean that Andy will miss out because he will get to eat these and snack on them throughout next week while he's building our new island. So I have a half a cup of olive oil in here. To my olive oil, I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. Now you can use more or less of that depending on how spicy you want it, but remember the rosemary is the star, and half a cup of olive oil, half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, 1 teaspoon salt, and 1 teaspoon onion powder. All right, so then I'm going to add my fresh garlic. Now I've got 2 cloves of garlic here, and I'm going to use my grater, my microplane. Now if you don't have one of these, that's fine. Don't feel that you need to get one. You don't need to have one of these in order for this recipe to work. You can chop your garlic really, really finely and mix it in. I like garlic flavor, so I add a little bit more garlic. But you can use 1 clove of garlic if you want to. All right, now, you're probably thinking to yourself, raw garlic, this sounds ridiculous. Don't worry. When the almonds, good gravy train, when the almonds are done cooking in the oven, we're going to put them in here and they are going to cook all of that stuff together. So it is going to be really deliciously smelling in here because rosemary is one of the most, in my opinion, like quintessential holiday scents. So, all right. So now I've added my seasoning. I'm going to move this bowl out of the way, and then I'm gonna start in on my rosemary. And I want a tablespoon of rosemary. So rosemary is a pretty easy thing to kind of work with. You want to just kind of pull the top off, and then you hold your stem where it's kind of fibrous, and you just pull those sort of like needles, if you will, of rosemary off the stem. So you guys can kind of see how I'm doing that. I'm pulling the tops, and then I find my stem, hold onto it, and I pull my rosemary down. So I'm going to have to share this rosemary between my squash and my almonds. So I'm just going to work on this. Whoop. So, Karen, which kitchen tool have you never seen before? The microplane. It's also called a zester, or a rasp. It can be called a rasp sometimes. It's actually a carpentry tool that people turned into a kitchen tool. So it's a very handy tool to have. I use it quite a bit, but it's not a necessity. It's just something I use a lot. Actually, I have 3 of them. I have one that's more savory, one that's on the sweeter side, and then one that I use only for fresh nutmeg. All right, so that looks like a good pile of rosemary. So we're gonna chop this down. And I'm gonna chop it pretty finely. You don't want anybody to get like a big giant piece of rosemary in their mouth while they're eating these almonds. But at the same time, you want the rosemary flavor to shine through. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell it in here. It smells so good. Bella, based on what's going on in the weather in Michigan, I don't blame you for wanting a vacation. All right. So I'm just gonna finely chop this. There we go. I'm gonna measure out about a tablespoon. So, all right. So I've got that. I'm gonna store this off to the side because I might need more when I get done with, I might need to use it when I get done with this recipe and move on to my squash recipe. So I'm gonna set this to the side, and I'm just going to whisk all of this together. So I've got my salt, I've got my crushed red pepper, I've got my onion powder, my fresh garlic, my fresh rosemary, and my olive oil. Now this might not seem like a lot of oil based on the amount of almonds we have, but trust me, it will work. All right. That smells so good. All right, so now we're gonna work on our squash. I'm gonna show you guys this beautiful acorn squash. All right, so I cut 2 acorn squash into about 8 wedges each. And I will tell you, acorn squash is kind of a beast to tackle. It's crazy. So we're going to make a beautiful spread to kind of slather on each of these wedges. And it's really a delicious recipe. So I've got about 12 minutes left in my rosemary almonds that are roasting in the oven. Now, if they start to smell like they're being, like you don't want to burn your almonds. So at about the 17-minute mark, I check them, and if it smells like they're cooked, I'll pull them out. You don't want them burned because they do have almond oil in them. They're made, that's how we get almond oil, is through almonds. and you don't want that oil to burn. So I'm going to move my squash out of the way. I'm going to show you guys what we're working with here. So I've got a stick of butter, or, well, this is vegan butter. So you can make this vegan or you can make this vegetarian, depending on what kind of butter you use. And it's softened. You can see I can work right through it. And now to my butter, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And then I'm going to use a tablespoon of fresh rosemary. So let's go ahead and get this in there so we kind of know about how much we're working with. Now you can add more sugar, you can add more rosemary. I like the flavor of the squash to really shine through, and acorn squash always reminds me of my grandma. She always cooked acorn squash. So that is the squash that I tend to be drawn to, I suppose you could say, mostly because it reminds me of holidays at my grandmother's house and just being with her. But you could definitely do this with butternut squash and it would probably be just as tasty. But acorn squash is my go-to. Now this is a great recipe to make for Thanksgiving. It is easy. You can make it a little bit ahead of time. Just don't cook it all the way through. You'll want to make sure that you don't cook it quite so much. Kind of par cook it, and then the day of, you just kind of finish cooking it up in the oven while your turkey is resting or while your other sides are cooking. All right. So we are gonna check that. It looks like I could use a little bit more. So I'm gonna do 1 more sprig, or half a sprig. Let's do this guy. Yeah, see, Mike says that you can get it in drywall in the section of Home Depot. It is in fact a tool that carpenters used to use and still probably do use. It just now has become also a cooking tool, which I very much enjoy. Not that I'll let Andy start using my microplane in the garage. He'll have to get his own. All right, let's see how we're doing here. All right, that's good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this in. I'm gonna move my board out of the way. Oops. All right, and then I'm just going to smash all of this together. I'm gonna make kind of a paste with my butter. All right, you see how it's kind of coming together. Now, again, I didn't use a lot of brown sugar. I don't want this to be too sweet because acorn squash, in my opinion, is fairly sweet anyway. But I did use 1/4 of a cup to 1 cup, or 1/2 cup, I'm sorry, of butter to a stick. All right, get that cracking. And again, you can use, you can make this vegetarian by using traditional butter. I went ahead and used vegan butter. You can use margarine, just depending on whatever works for you and the diet that you are, or the diets that you're preparing for. If I'm preparing for vegans, if I have vegans coming, well, I'm a vegan, so if I'm preparing it for myself, or I'm preparing Thanksgiving, I'll make most of it vegan because everybody can eat vegan food, and only have like 1 or 2 dishes that are meat-based, and then I'll have other food that's vegetarian as well. You know, if you think about it, you got salads and side dishes and really mostly the only thing is your turkey. That's going to be an omnivore based, or sometimes your stuffing if you've added any meat to that, which I do to one of my stuffings. All right. All right. Yes, my Packers cup. Bella, acorn squash is delicious, and it really is one of my favorite squashes. So, now this is simple. You just take your butter and kind of smear it on. There you go, just like that. Move this forward. I'm going to move this bowl out of the way so you guys can see. Alisa! Hello! Bella, I'm going to do stuffing. I have 2 stuffing recipes. I have a vegan stuffing recipe that I make, which is super tasty. And then I have an omnivore stuffing that I also make, which is my grandma's recipe. And I used to love it. Andy loves it. The process to make it is very weird, but. All right, so I'm just taking my squash, and like I said, I'm just sort of slathering some of this butter on there. Honestly, Bella, I also think that homemade stuffing tastes better. Just my personal opinion. It's a little bit more labor intensive, but it tastes better. All right, so I can smell that my almonds are just about done, and that was at the 16-minute mark. So I'm gonna grab those in just a second. I'm gonna try to finish getting these all squared away first, so I can pop these in when the almonds come out. We'll see how that goes. All right. So now that you guys have kind of seen this process, I'm gonna, hi guys, hello. All right, so I'm just gonna keep working on this. And like I said, I can start to smell the almonds. All right, so while we're doing this, does anybody have any like Thanksgiving questions while I'm working on this? Any Thanksgiving questions that I may have missed? Or anything that you guys may be curious about or feeling a little bit unsure about that you want me to, that you might want me to answer a question if I can, because I'll be happy to do that for you all. Any Thanksgiving based questions? We're gonna do some Thanksgiving recipes again next week. Because it's that time of year now. It's time to get ready. It's time to get ready for Thanksgiving. So if you guys have any questions or you're not sure about something, let me know. It smells good in this kitchen, you guys. It smells super good in this kitchen. So, everybody feeling comfortable with what they're making for Thanksgiving? Everybody have any, you guys hosting or are you going somewhere? Because we're hosting, obviously, and Mary and Mike are going somewhere, which is here, which will be very exciting. All right, so now that I've got this done, I actually have enough left over for another squash, which will work out nicely. Because then Andy and I can have squash on Sunday night when he gets back from his trip. Yay! All right, so I'm gonna move this out of the way, just off to the side there, because those almonds are done. I can smell them. So I'm going to grab my trivet and I'm going to go grab those almonds. I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to put these in. I'm going to take my squash and put them at 350 for 30 minutes. Okay, so I've got my oil. Hello? Hello? There it is. Okay. Took me a second. All right, so I've got my oil here and you see my almonds. So very, very carefully, I'm going to take my almonds that have been roasting. This is always the part where it's nice to have a second set of hands. This is usually Andy's job. He helps me with this. But hey, not too bad. Only a couple. Be very careful when you pick these up because they're very hot. Woo! Toasty. All right. All right, now we start tossing in the oil. And look at how beautiful this is. So Bella, one of the ways to tell is just if you're not sure if the squash is done, just, you know, pierce it with a fork. If it goes through easily, it's like potatoes, then it's done. If it's not going through easily, you're gonna wanna give it a little bit more time. I would say, you know, try about another 5 to 10 minutes and see how that works. Woo! It smells good in here, guys. That garlic, oh. The rosemary, oh, you guys, I wish you could smell this. Ooh, April, 8 to 9 is a good number. That's a nice number of people. You get enough people that you have you can make a good amount of food, but not, you know, so I think sometimes making Thanksgiving for a small number can be harder than making Thanksgiving for a big number. All right. So there you guys have it. There's some rosemary almonds. And my eyes are watering for some reason. I don't know why, but it might be the crushed red pepper. So you want to definitely let these cool before handling them. Oh, Liz, you're going to be working? That's sad. That's a bummer. And other Liz, no, I did not take the skin off the squash. I usually just leave it with the skin on. It sort of maintains its structure a little bit better, in my opinion. Also, I can be a lazy cook sometimes, but when you're cooking for so many people, I think sometimes you're allowed those certain lazy allowances. So, all right. Oh, Bella, that sounds like what we do. You know, since we're not serving people in the military, but we've opened our home to all of our big cat peeps who may not have family nearby, or you know, the interns, since they usually are away from their families. We've opened our home up to all of our big cat friends. So that's awesome. All right, so these are gonna cool down. Now I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just let these come to room temperature before I cover them. And I like to use a bowl when I prepare this, and then I like to store them in the same bowl. I don't like shifting them over into a bag, a zip top bag, simply because I've had tendencies where I've used a zip top bag and the oil has leaked out and it's made a giant mess. So if you can use a bowl that you like to have like a cover for, or that you're comfortable and you're not going to need later, go ahead and do this all in one bowl. This is like a one dish wonder which I love. And then these are great to just put out in little containers around the countertop because everybody hangs out in the kitchen no matter what happens. But if you got people watching football, you can put a couple out on the coffee table. Wherever people are going to be gathered, this is a great little snack to have on hand. Now they are messy because they're oily, so make sure you have napkins for people. But these are really nice, like I said, with some a cheese board with some charcuterie, some fruit and almonds. These are really nice to have as sort of like little nibbles before the big event, as I like to call it. So we've got our rosemary almonds done, and then we've got our squash in the oven for 30 minutes. So I think that's everything. So we'll do some Q&A if anybody needs anything. If we don't do a live, I don't think we'll be able to do a live of the stuffing, but we may be able to do a pre-recorded. So we may do a pre-recorded stuffing. We can definitely figure something out about that. Let's see. This is our first Thanksgiving as chicken and nugget. I'm very excited. So, oh, Mike, that's a bummer that you didn't get to have Thanksgiving off, but it's kind of the way the military works, I think. So, yeah. April, we also make a lot of stuff here. I make a ton of stuff. Actually, I think if Andy is cool with it, we may go live on Thanksgiving before we actually serve our food, so you guys can kind of see what we're gonna do, see what we're serving, and then kind of go from there. And we can say hi to everybody on Thanksgiving, and you guys can see all of the food that I have made and how exhausted I look, but happy, because it just makes me so happy to serve food. I just love to cook for people. It makes me feel good. I feel like that's how I can share part of myself with everybody, is to feed them. So let's see. All right, so any Q&A that you guys might have about Thanksgiving, let me know. Otherwise, I've just, we've kind of finished up, not too bad, only about 20 minutes left on the squash, which is great. And I think that's everything for now. But next Friday, we're definitely going to keep the Thanksgiving thing rolling, because it will be the Friday before Thanksgiving. It'll be bananas. Fun fact about Thanksgiving: the night before Thanksgiving, that Wednesday night before, Andy and Nico have this tradition that has now been dubbed Beers Giving. So they go out and they go out to the bar, the brewery, and one of the reasons they do it is so that they can fill growlers, so we have beer on hand when people come over. But it has become this tradition that they go out to the brewery, and it's like the quietest night in the house for me. Andy goes, "Hey, Mischief Boy, you missed most of what we've worked on." But we did some rosemary almonds as a little snack. And these are super simple. These are a great nibble. And then we've got some squash in the oven, roasting right now. So, I'm cool hanging out here for the next 20 minutes to show you guys what the squash looks like when it comes out of the oven. If you guys have to go, that's not a problem. But we can kind of talk some Thanksgiving while we're waiting. I know that's probably less interesting to listen to me talk about anything, but than to actually show you how to do it. But yes, Beers Giving. Oh my goodness. It's actually, I enjoy it because it's the last night before Thanksgiving, and it means that the house is totally empty. Andy has taken care of the cats for me, so that way he and Nico can go out. Yeah, the two of them together. Oh my gosh. And then it's quiet in the house, getting ready for the craziness that is Thanksgiving. So they're good boys. They know their limits, so they behave themselves. But it's definitely a good time. I'm actually gonna take this out because there we go. And get rid of that. Okay, there we go. Oh, good grief! You in this shirt, Mary Jerome. We will definitely put you in dish patrol. Our dishwasher has broken right before Thanksgiving. Yes. So we are going to have all hands on deck for dishwashing, which is very necessary. So, so we're gonna do that, and then Thanksgiving morning, I get up and I make Andy go get me a newspaper because I like to look at all of the Black Friday ads. I know you can do it online, but it's the only time of year that we get a newspaper. It is tradition in my mom and dad's house for my dad to go do it. And so we are keeping the tradition alive here in Florida. And then I make breakfast for the two of us. Usually it's pretty tasty. One year I made scrambled eggs with herbed cream cheese and salmon, smoked salmon. Last year I made I made cranberry almond scones, which is one of my new favorite things. So I might be doing that this year. And then I watch the parade, and then I get up and I start working. But April, I also have football on. Don't be so dramatic. You didn't drive 3 towns over. You just drove 1 town over. Drama queen. This year you'll have to get up very early, Andy, to get us that paper. That's a great question. I'm going to grab a stool and sit down for a second, guys. Because I've been cooking all day. My feet are tired. So there are so many options for a vegan Thanksgiving. Now, I know that there is a tofurkey, which I personally do not care for, but some people do, and that's totally cool if that works for them. I like to just do a lot of sides. I make a vegan stuffing, which is super delicious. My mashed potatoes are always vegan, just because that makes it easy. And they're tasty because they're potatoes. I make a vegan gravy, cranberries, obviously. And then I like to make our ratatouille. Now, we've done ratatouille a few times. Okay. Hang on. All right. So we'll do this. Bella, I'm saving my apron for big cat cooking events because I don't want to get too much schmutz on it because I love it. Bella gave me a beautiful apron when she came to visit a couple weekends ago, and I love it. But I don't want to get too much schmutz on it, so I'm saving it for big cat rescue events because it's very special. So let's see what else. I do my vegan gravy, salad. Salad is easy. You can make a vegan vinaigrette, super simple. Like I said, I like to do my ratatouille, which we've done a lot of. Oh, I can wash it. Okay, good to know. Thank you. I like to make the ratatouille, which we've done a couple different versions of. We've done a live version. We've also done a pre-recorded version of that. So that's super easy. Let's see. Oh, what else? What else? There's so much. You can do green beans. Like you can make a green bean. You can just saute green beans and they're good to go. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, April. Yeah. So, super simple way to do your mashed potatoes without dairy. You can use the vegan butter and you can use almond milk or cashew milk or oat milk, as long as you make sure to buy the plain unsweetened variety. That is going to be your friend. If you use I like the oat milk. I find that is pretty darn close to what I remember milk tasting like. It's been so long since I've had milk. But, the vegan butter, non-dairy milk, or you can also use a really good quality vegetable stock or broth to make your potatoes vegan. That is super easy. You just really need the liquid, and then I suggest the butter, salt, and pepper, the vegan butter with the liquid. So like I said, if you want to do the vegetarian or the vegetable broth, you can do that, or you can do the non-dairy milk. But again, remember to make sure that you get the plain unsweetened variety, because if you get the sweetened variety, it's like imagine vanilla sweetened almond milk in your mashed potatoes. That would definitely be interesting. I actually am on a forum of people, and we talk about food a lot, and someone accidentally used like half and half that was sweetened, and they were like, oh, it did not come out well. So oh, thanks, Elisa. That's a great point. Yeah, Elisa recommended Lactaid milk, and she is lactose intolerant. So that is a great suggestion. Thank you, Elisa, for doing that. Bella, I also got this. This came from my mom. This apron came from my mom. I don't know why I'm doing this, but this apron came from my mom. She bought it for me in Paris. So this is also a special apron. Let's see. So I like to make all my potatoes vegan. Nobody really notices. I make 2 different kinds of gravy. I make a turkey gravy and a vegan gravy. I know, I'm hungry. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very hungry. I'm excited about food. But it's gonna be Thanksgiving in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. I can't believe it. It's crazy. I like to do a mac and cheese. Now this year I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to order my vegan mac and cheese from a restaurant that makes delicious vegan mac and cheese to save myself some time. Guys, don't hesitate to take some help from the store. Like really, if you're cooking for a lot of people, or you're cooking for a small group of people, but it feels overwhelming, don't hesitate to get some help. I mean, the store will help you out. Whole Foods has a great selection of items. If you have one close by, they can help you out. But there are so many places that will do, if you want to get like a catering order, or it's, you need to listen to what yeah, it does look like night outside. Yeah, definitely. But don't hesitate to take some help from the store. I do it all the time. Like sometimes I will get extra gravy from the store and just have gravy on hand, because I don't know how much I'm gonna need, and Andy will always eat the turkey gravy if I buy extra turkey gravy. So get help from the store, and don't be afraid to do that. You want to be able to enjoy this process, but if you're feeling really stressed and really overwhelmed, then it's gonna make it more difficult. So buy sliced carrots and sliced celery if that's going to make things easier for you. Buy prepackaged vegetable dip if that's going to make it easier for you. Don't feel like you have to make everything from scratch. Believe me, that is something that I made the mistake of doing my very first year, and I felt so overwhelmed. I was exhausted, and my feet hurt, and what are you saying, Andy, by the cup? I don't understand. So, definitely he eats gravy by the cup. Yeah, he's a weirdo, but I love him. So yeah, definitely make sure that you guys are getting help from the store if you feel like you want it or need it. Don't feel obligated to make everything from scratch. It can be exhausting. Oh. Well, Elisa, he's in California, so yeah. Elisa's walking home from work with a flashlight. I had to drive the golf cart home, or not home, but I drove the golf cart from the gift shop to food prep. And fortunately, I had my head lantern. So I was the headlight for the golf cart. I took the interns and our coordinator back to food prep. It was dark by the time we got done with chores on Monday. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Liz, anything, that's a great point. Anything you guys can make ahead of time, go for it. We're definitely going to do cranberry sauce next Friday, so stay tuned for cranberries. It's super simple recipe. You don't want to miss out. Yeah, April, if I'm going to pick up a vegan mac and cheese from a restaurant that I absolutely love. I emailed them about it. Just going to get a half tray because I think I'm going to be the only vegan at Thanksgiving this year, which is fine. And then I'm going to make a vegetarian mac and cheese. And let's see. Oh, I wrote it all down. Oh, Bella, we love gravy in our Sardone home. It's so good. It's delicious. And they really like it over in the UK. Gravy is delicious. Let's see. We've got just about 10 minutes left on the squash, so we can pull that out in 10 minutes. Gravy by the cup. Andy's weird. He's a weirdo. I'm trying to think what else. Definitely rolls. Yes. Bella, I buy my rolls. I don't have the time to make bread, nor do I have the patience, nor, to be honest, do I feel comfortable in my bread making abilities. So I just buy rolls. I buy them from the bakery section of my grocery store. And what I like to do is to just like to flip them over. I like to look to make sure that they don't have eggs or dairy in them. Typically they'll have wheat because obviously they're bread, and maybe sometimes soy, but those are the two, those are the things that I try to look for. I get help from the store with my rolls. I know that there are those like Leaven fresh rolls that you can put in the oven and bake up. I don't want to take up oven space for that. I mean, we already have the upper section of the oven, the lower section of the oven, and the June going at Thanksgiving. We have 3 ovens going on Thanksgiving. It's ridiculous. So I just get my rolls from the store. I don't even have to worry about them. I put them out on a tray. Goodness, that man is so strange. Oh my goodness. So the easiest way to make a gravy, Bella, is to make your roux first. You want to melt your butter. When you are done with that, you add the same amount of flour and whisk it into a paste, and then slowly add your liquid. Yeah, so if you like the King's Hawaiian, the brown and serve rolls, but yeah, Liz, definitely, I always write down everything I'm going to make. I write down my snacking stuff. I write down what I want to do with that. And then I write down my full menu, what I'm making for my omnivores, what I'm making for my vegetarians, what I'm making for my vegans. And then I make sure that I have platters for everything, because everything is going to need a place. And I make sure that I have enough counter space to put everything out. Because, Grant's biscuits. Yeah, nice. Red eye gravy. I don't know that I've ever made him red eye gravy. Isn't that with like coffee in it or something, April? Yeah. The Grant's biscuits, you can make those in advance, right, Amy? Like you can make those Grant's biscuit in advance, and then you can just pop them back in the oven when everything is out to warm them up real quick. So, guys, don't feel like you have to do everything the day of, and don't feel like you can't take help from the store. Because truly and honestly, this day is about giving thanks, but also sharing. It's about sharing with your friends and sharing with your family and just being together. Whether that means being together and watching football, being together and watching the parade, being together and just eating and laughing and having fun and playing board games. Don't feel the pressure of having to make everything perfect, because I've been there and I've done that and I've been that person, and it is exhausting. It truly is exhausting to try to feel like you have to make everything from scratch. Get a little help from the store. It really makes it worth it. Brown the flour. Yes, Luana, definitely make a roux like they do for gumbo in Louisiana. That is a good point, Luana. And Amy says that you can make your biscuits in advance. And you can reheat them the next day. So that's a great way to, hey Tammy, that's a great way to kind of plan that. If you want to make your biscuits from scratch, you can get those Grant's biscuits, make them the day before, and then just heat them up. Mary, bring your beautiful self when it's time. Come have fun. We're gonna have kittens for Thanksgiving in our kitten room. They're going to be staying in our kitten room. Let's see. But no, mostly just dishes. It's going to be dishes because we're going to have a lot of dishes with no dishwasher. But other than that, I will really feel like I have a lot of stuff like prepared. This will be your first Thanksgiving with us, so you have not experienced the craziness that is Bridget on Thanksgiving. Auntie will tell you all about it when you guys come over. Don't worry about it. Let's see. We've got a couple more minutes. I just want to make sure that... Oh, naughty cat. Joy. Sorry, I heard somebody eating George's food, and I couldn't see if it was him or not, and it was not him. It was his sister, so. Okay, now George isn't there eating his food, which is good. Joy, don't be naughty. Which is hard because she is naughty. April, if you message us on Chicken and Nugget, I will usually get that. Or if you email me directly at Bridget@chickenandnugget.com, that's probably the best way to get a hold of me because I'm not always checking Facebook. So if you have questions, Bella has emailed me before. Sometimes I get back pretty quickly. I'm not going to lie, there were a couple of emails where I was like, okay, I'll get to it, and then I dropped the ball, so my apologies. Ooh, deviled eggs. Genius. Ooh. So, let's see. So, yeah, April, if you want to email me, it's Bridget@chickenandnugget.com. That's typically the best way to get a hold of me, especially if you have questions. I know that it's a little bit more time-consuming than messaging on Facebook, but it's the best way to get a hold of me. It's true. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget. It's terrible, but I have good intentions. Let's see. We just got a couple minutes left on those squash, so I'm going to prep the space for it. All right, I'm going to get this out of the way. Okay. I'm going to get this out of the way. Ooh, stuffed celery. Yum. I like this community we have of Thanksgiving ideas floating around here. All right, so this weekend, while Andy is gone, I will be at Big Cat Rescue 2 days in a row. Woohoo! Hang on, Bella. Let me see if I still have any. All right, so this is what I use for the cutting boards that is not walnut extract or walnut oil. And I think you can order this on Amazon. April, I do not know I don't know the difference between the whipped banana pudding or not whipped banana pudding. I don't eat banana pudding. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a personal choice. Oh, it smells so good in here. Ugh. Adrian, you are actually right on time. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick because We've got about 30 seconds. So in this bowl here, I have these beautiful rosemary almonds. We roasted them in the oven. They were unroasted, unsalted. Don't worry, Bella, it happens to me all the time. These were unroasted, unsalted almonds. They were just plain naked almonds. I roasted them at a 350 for 20 minutes, but I pulled them early because they smelled like they were done. In the bowl, before we added the almonds, we did a half a cup of olive oil. We did 2 freshly zested, grated cloves of garlic, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of rosemary, half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper, and a teaspoon of onion powder. Hang on one second. All right. All right. So here we go. We've got beautiful acorn squash. So Adrian, we also did acorn squash. And then I slathered it with butter, rosemary, and brown sugar. So I'm going to go use a fork. I'm just going to test. This one looks to be like my biggest guy. Oh, see, and my fork comes out real easy there, Bella. So that's how you guys will know that these are done. You put your fork in and your fork comes out super easy. These are all done. All done. So these are all done. They've been roasted for 30 minutes at 350 degrees after we slathered them with that butter and brown sugar rosemary mixture. Oh, it smells so good, you guys. It smells so good. All right, so we've got 2 Thanksgiving dishes going on here, and we've pretty much finished everything up. So, there we go. All right. Does anybody have any questions before we head out? Because I have to go to a grand opening this evening. And then I have to go to Big Cat tomorrow and Sunday. It's going to be a big day. Big weekend. Lots of stuff. All right. So, next Friday, we're going to do more Thanksgiving. Andy will be home, so he can do all the tech, which means I don't have to do any of the tech, which makes me very happy. So we're going to do more Thanksgiving prep. We're definitely going to do a cranberry, and then I'm going to try to figure something else out that I can share with you guys that's easy and we can do together in advance. So if you come up with any questions, please let me know. Oh, I'm making pie, and then I've actually got this cake that I'm testing out tomorrow. So I'm going to see about that. This is a pear spice cake. Adrian, in substitution for the almonds, I don't know that you could do anything instead of nuts for this recipe. So if you're looking for like little nibbles, I would definitely see... Edith next week is the singing and dancing. Andy is in California. Elisa was under the weather last weekend, so we're all going to reconvene. We're going to do it next weekend. But as far as instead of nuts as like a nibble, like something to snack on before the event, we like to do olives. I don't know if you like olives, but we like to do olives. We do some cheese. I do a couple different kinds of cheese. I get some salami that people can eat. We make you can get some crostini, which is just some really delicious dry bread, which is tasty and I love it. What else? Oh, you can do fresh vegetables and dip. That's really super simple to do as far as like getting ready for people to have something to snack on. Trying to think what else. Just trying to throw some options out for you that you can do that are like little nibbles that you can eat that won't cause an allergic reaction. Pumpkin seeds are always a good one. I mean, it's perfectly classic for Thanksgiving. Let's see. Oh, veggies with the oil. That might be good. Yeah. That's a good point, Bella. Yeah, someone suggested stuffed celery with cream cheese. Yeah, that sounds great. Mike, I love olives too. We eat a lot of olives at our house. Oh, so good. There's an olive tapenade, which is all kinds of olives chopped up with like capers, and you spread it over bread, and it's so good. You could make a cheese ball. Let's see. Celery and peanut butter. That's always a good one. But, spinach dip is great. So there's a lot of stuff that you can have that's, you can set out for little nibbles that people can enjoy before the actual main event, as I've been calling it, which is the bird. But, and all of the accoutrement that goes with the turkey. So there's a lot of stuff that you could do. As far as this recipe, this is pretty specific to almonds, but Bella suggested some veggies that might work really well. You could do pickled veggies if you like that. Let's see. I think that's everything. So, again, if you guys have any questions or you need anything, you can message me on Chicken and Nugget Facebook. You can find us on Facebook at Chicken and Nugget. If you want to go ahead and like and share this video, you can also follow along. If you are not subscribed to Chicken and Nugget yet, go ahead and subscribe. We put out a blog post earlier this week about why we've been sort of quiet. We've been sort of incommunicado over the last couple weeks. And then, let's see. Next week, we're going to do some more Thanksgiving stuff. And what else? I think that's about it for now. So if you guys need anything, don't forget to check in with the people on the in the group. You guys can always talk to each other in the group. Amy has great suggestions in the Chicken and Nugget group. You guys can do that. Let's see. Other than that, I think that's everything for now. So if you guys need anything, let me know. I'll do my best to respond. It's going to be kind of crazy for the next couple weeks getting ready for Thanksgiving for me as well, but I will do my best. And let's see. Oh, you can also do pimento cheese if you are a Southern person and you know what pimento cheese is. I enjoy it immensely. I'm just watching the comments go by. That's what made me think of pimento cheese. So if you guys need anything, go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow if you are a Daily Big Cat person and you are excited about a 12:15 walkabout at Big Cat Rescue. If you are unsure of what I'm speaking, feel free to check out Daily Big Cat on YouTube. Subscribe. You'll find us. You'll find me, and most of the time, my husband Andy. We do a live at 12:15, and that way we can show you guys what Big Cat Rescue is all about. We introduce you to the cats. We show you around the sanctuary. It's a pretty darn good time. There's some fun and frolicking that also happens at times, but tomorrow I will be flying solo. So if you guys want to check me out at 12:15, I will be walking around. I may have Elisa be able to join me, but the gift shop has been super busy lately, so she's probably going to be booked up. So it'll probably just be me. But if you guys have anything that you need, let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch some of you tomorrow, and I will catch some of you next Friday for more Thanksgiving prep. So we'll see you guys soon. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Bye, guys. Andy, are you stopping this or I'm stopping it? I'm stopping it. Yes.